Hey, welcome to Morning Standup. I'm Stacy K, and I'm very excited for today's episode. It's been a long time coming. Today's guest, you may have seen her on That's My Time with David Letterman or on her legendary roast battle clips. Give it up for Robin Tran.
Thank you, everybody. I just burped right when you introed me. I don't know if that got picked up on the mic. So good to say, yep, we're good. Now, I just wanted to let you know. I was going to tell you to just keep it in if that's the case, you know, a little slice of life.
Keep the burp in?
Yeah. Let's keep it all in.
Yeah, my fans will definitely appreciate your burps for sure.
What fans, Stacy? I'm kidding. What? Okay, so why did you want me on your show? Tell me.
Why did I want you on the show?
Yeah, tell me.
Because we're friends.
Uh-huh. But, I mean, don't my politics drive you insane?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You know, my I hate everyone. I hate the whole system thing.
You don't think I know people like that?
I mean, don't they drive you nuts?
Well, no, you're from Orange County, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you live your whole life in around. Your politics make sense for where you're from.
Yeah.
Like,
well, we live in a very poor part of Orange County.
Well,
it's away from where the rich show was. What
I'm saying is, people in California have more reason to like be mad at Democrats and stuff like that.
Sure.
It's what it means to be a Republican is different in different states.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And like, so like, I talk to like Republicans in New York, I can talk to them. Like, but Republicans in like Arkansas, like, you know, we need to both have guns, like for it, you know.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you know, it's I guess you see I shill on Twitter a lot for Democrats. I mostly just trash Republicans, but occasionally I say positive things about Democrats because I want them to win. Because when they don't win, red states go straight to hell because the politicians there really suck, and the only thing that keeps them in line is the federal government. And when that federal government is like, let's let the states do whatever they want, it goes to hell. So
well, I am a Republican, so I actually wanted to do the show just to break the news and see how much I can get away with. No, it's nice. It's nice to talk to you, Stacy. I got to say that you're the only person where, like, in real life, I feel like very comfortable making fun of you, but through text, you're very scary.
Really?
Yeah. I would say so. Yeah, just I think you do a very good job of just kind of roasting, I think, but like I have this kind of anxious attachment with like text. So even when you're like every time I'm texting you something, I know it's like, what is she gonna say that is kind of like, oh, shut up, stupid, or whatever you say to me, and I'm like, oh, and it's all like,
you think I say shut up, stupid?
No,
like,
I mean
that's what I'm gonna say to you.
You probably have. I'm just saying.
I don't think I
it's
have.
kind of like just your responses are very like it's
combative.
Like whatever. Yeah, combative is a great word, Stacy. So I just wanted to do the show partially because I feel like this is like an even playing ground for me, because in real life I think I'm better at the banter back and forth, but sometimes when I'm texting you, it's like I always feel like a pussy, you know, where I'm just like, you don't say that, Stacy. and I don't like that part of me coming out, you know. I don't like hey, I'm not really in the mood for jokes right now. Like I become the people that I make fun of.
So nobody else texts you like I text you?
No one.
No one?
Nobody.
That's crazy.
I would say that I used to have more people text me that way, but I don't. Everyone I text to nowadays are just like women who we do is validate each other and remind each other that you're not a burden in my life. It's just a constant barrage of validation and
wait, you don't
neediness.
get tired of that?
Why
you prefer it that way?
Why would I ever get tired of that?
I don't know, dude. I like to fight all the time.
I know you do. I know. That's why I find it so interesting. Like
I'll be nice. I want to be nice, like when it like really matters. But as like surface level nice, I hate that.
Why?
I guess being in Kansas City for 5 years makes me hate all of the Midwest nice stuff, which is not real nice. It's like they don't actually like me. They pretend. And then what they really think is they hate me, and they don't let me know for a really long time. So like I would rather, go
proactively fight. before they can start. You start the fight first. I'm also not used to. I think I am more used to fake nice now that I think about it. Like when I was first in New York and I like bumped into somebody, and I said, "Oh, sorry about that," and he goes, "What the fuck are you apologizing for?" I'm like, "I don't."
See, I fucking love New York.
I'm sorry.
I love that about New York.
I didn't say I'm sorry.
Everybody's
for apologizing.
ready to fight on the street at all times.
I'm not really a combative person. The thing is, though, I have an issue. I think with having difficult conversations. I think that's going to be that's my big, my number one problem in life is that I avoid potential even like a second of discomfort. So I think that it is really my issue, and I'm trying to have just like more difficult conversations. And for me, even a difficult conversation would be like me saying, oh, I don't feel like going there. Like, even like,
you don't want to bail on stuff.
I don't want to say no, but even if I know it's going to be a no.
Did you want to say no to my podcast?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. I want to, no, not because I want to say no to everything, Stacy. My problem is that I don't want to ever do anything until I get there. Then I am happy I'm out. But it's not an insult to you. Like Fifi asked me to record. We have the Skin Suit podcast together. Yeah. It took us almost a year to record the first episode.
Really?
Because I just kept putting it off. I don't tell people no. I just say, oh, hey, I'll get back to me on Tuesday, and I just kind of like do that constantly, and just avoid. But I'm trying to be better because it's like when you let things fester like that, like every fight I have with a friend, it's not going to be about the fight that's happening. It's going to be about
some small thing that
here comes 5 years of resentment that came out that we never said. Yes, all of it comes out. I have a joke about how I never feel more validated, my gender affirmed than when I'm having a fight with my fiance, because I fight like a girl where like they'll say something very slight that will kind of hurt my feelings. And they're not even trying to hurt my feelings. It's like, if I'm like, hey, babe, and they're just like, oh, 1 second, because they're doing something for work. And then they're like looking at their phone, and like them saying 1 second has already hurt my feelings. And now but then my head is like, Robin, you're being fucking crazy for that to hurt your feelings. And then I would just start pouting. I'm like, I'm mad at myself, and then they're like, hey, what's wrong, babe? I'm like, I'm fine. And there's like, okay, well now there's like a fight brewing. And then after a few minutes, I know I'm wrong, okay? Do you think I like being like this? And that's kind of how I fight with people. And so I think I'm like, oh, I guess I really am like a girl, but I need to get better at that. I don't know. I also said yes because I thought it would be fun to just make fun of you in real life, and just like bring up the texting thing because I thought it would be interesting show.
It is fun to let people know that we text each other. See, we're friends. Like I said,
it's very weird that people want others to know that I'm friends with them. That's like a very new thing for me.
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Why? I mean, I think. Listen, the reason I text you combatively instead of like affirmingly is because you can't say anything funny if I say something affirming toward you.
But why would I want to be funny?
I think everything you text me basically makes me laugh.
Well, I don't. The thing is that if I'm not like on camera, or I don't know, I don't really like to be funny when I don't have to be. It's weird. Like unless I'm like just hanging out with you one-on-one or whatever. But I don't know, in texting, I don't really like to joke around as much.
Really?
I like to be like maybe playful or sweet or whatever. I'm kind of like a very sweet person through texting and stuff. But I think the banter back and forth is like, I used to do that a lot more when I just hung out with comedians all the time. I don't really hang out with comedians anymore because I just felt like, yeah, you guys ever clock out? Like I'm just like, what's going on? I thought someone just yelled.
No, I think he laughed at you.
Oh. Oh, the studio audience is laughing at Robin Tran right now. Yeah, so, and I wasn't gonna say like, okay, so I hope this doesn't come off as offensive, right? But so I don't have any more guy friends like whatsoever, like no more cis male friends. I think I have like maybe some trans male friends and some non-binary more mask friends, because there's a constant like roasting all the time, and I find it to be like exhausting, and also like it's almost like too intimate and not intimate at the same time. Like I feel like whenever a guy is roasting me, I just feel like, okay, this feels too much like flirting, and I don't like it very much. But then I'm also watching, like when I'm like watching a reality show and a woman goes, Oh, I just grew up with all brothers, and you know, I was like the first female in this male football team. I'm like, I probably would hate hanging out with her too because she probably talks like a guy does, you know. And I think I'm just too sensitive maybe for that kind of combativeness or something. I don't know.
And it's not just you I text combatively.
Oh, I know.
That's kind
I
of
don't
how
think
I text
I
everybody.
don't think it is.
Like
I don't think it's like Stacy just does this to me. I just think it's a very funny. I just thought I'm so sorry to bring this awkwardness up, but I just think like I've always wanted to just do a show where I awkwardly bring up personal things and see
you
the
got
other
any more
person.
personal beefs you need to go through on this podcast?
No, I don't think so. I just wanted to see how you would react to this because I don't know. I'm like almost 40 years old, and I'm at that point in my life now where it's like just say it, see what happens. I'm kind of, you know, like I've gone through so many other things in life. Why don't I just throw in some?
What did you think the odds were of me like, shut the fuck up, get off my podcast?
None, not at all. Because in real life, you are very different than online. I actually was shocked when we first hung out in New York. We were staying, and I don't know. I just felt like wow, you're like you know we just like clicked really well in real life, and I don't know. I don't know why I thought we wouldn't, you know, but we just really
we talked for like 2 years before that, right?
yeah, but we never like just kind of occupied the same space for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess kind of like, oh, like I think that we our personalities kind of like I thought would clash more for some reason, but we kind of just had like yeah, sometimes you just kind of get along with somebody. And I guess I was surprised that we got along so well. I don't know. Sometimes like when you're online a lot and people have such different like world views, maybe like in real life, maybe like those will clash, and it didn't happen. So I don't know. I was like quite surprised that we got along so well. I hope that's not offensive to you, but I'm always I'm always like surprised.
You're like, we got along really well. I hope I'm not offending you.
No, I hope I'm not offending you with like me thinking that we might not, you know. So anyway,
I'm assuming you think that about everyone, right?
Like that I won't get along with them.
Yeah. Do you have those thoughts about people regularly, or is it just me?
Well, you know, until very, very recently, until like I think even like my last trip to New York, really everything changed. I've always been afraid of meeting internet friends in real life because I did when I was like really young, like when I was like in ninth grade, and it went really badly. Like I had a crush on
what kind of internet friends?
like just like AIM, like we were classmates,
Yeah.
you know, and we're just chatting all summer. And I was very shy in real life, but I was very like funny and cute and brave on instant messenger. And when I met up with some internet friends, like the girl I had a crush on was like, ew, you know, like kind of like she thought I was kind of gross in real life. And it kind of like broke my heart. I don't think I like got over it until maybe like the last month when I actually started meeting with more
The
internet
last
friends.
month?
Yeah, I would say it's like that. It's been that recent. Like I've always been afraid of like meeting people in real life and them being disappointed, and and also like it's like I mean if you want to know how bad my self-esteem was, it was like I thought they would meet me in real life and then they would see that I was so ugly they wouldn't want to be my friend anymore. Like and then I told that to a friend of mine once because you know she's like, look, no offense, but that doesn't even make any sense. I've never heard somebody meeting someone and they're like, you're so ugly, I don't want to be your friend anymore.
It's like from a cartoon.
Yeah, just like, and so I think there was a lot of nervousness that we just kind of carried on from that.
But now you're meeting internet friends
Yeah.
since New York?
Yeah, I would say so because I don't know, for some reason I made a lot of fans during the pandemic, you know, like we were all inside and I got big on TikTok and I just kind of like became friends with some fans, you know, and then like a lot of them just ended up being people in New York for some reason. So yep. How are you, Stacy? I mean, are we I think we're done with the personal awkwardness, I think. What do you feel like talking about? What do you feel like asking me?
I don't know. What kind of shit you been doing lately?
What kind of shit have I been doing lately?
I mean, you had a show at the Bell House show go good?
Oh, I mean, it was like it was one of those sets that was so good that afterwards I got like a few days later I got kind of depressed.
Because you're never gonna top it.
No. That's not why. I think I I feel like I'm like one of the greatest comedians to ever live, and that's like a real like a really embarrassing true opinion about myself. It's more like that was so good. How come like more people didn't see that? And where's all the money and where's all the people? You know, it's like whenever I have a really, really good set, and I feel like
you should get paid more for this.
Yeah, and I feel like it was so good, and then where like what happened to it? It's kind of it disappears, you know. It's not. I kind of felt the same way about like we did the show at the Stand in November of 20, and like that set was like so good, and then afterwards it was like yeah, but now what? You know, there's this kind of
Right.
a now what afterwards, and I always get kind of sad about that.
You
And
know, that show, they lost the tape for it.
yeah, I know, and I was
It's
bummed about
fucking
that too.
sucked.
I know, but I also got like tapes of like some of my best comedy sets of all time, and then like for that to not get me anything also is like also very discouraging, you know. There's like an Eminem lyric, it's always Eminem with me, like in the song 8 Mile, not Lose Yourself. He does a song called 8 Mile where he raps as B Rabbit, you know. And there's like this kind of line about where do these punchlines go, who must I know, who must I, and I just remember just thinking like, yeah, where the fuck do these punchlines go, where does it go? So that's to say that the last 20 minutes of my hour in Brooklyn is the best stand up I've like ever done. It was like I was like 20 minutes. I just felt like unstoppable, like a god almost. You know, like I get this big ego for a few days, and it comes crashing down after 4 or 5 days of the mania, where I'm just like, I know I'm actually a big piece of shit. You know, like kind of it's like the bipolar whatever of show business. But yeah, I don't know. I have a half hour coming out that is different from the hour I did in Brooklyn, which is different from the hour I did in Edinburgh. And I'm trying to get all of these things taped at some point.
Wait, so you've already taped the half hour?
The half hour has been taped.
Where was it taped?
It's a place called Roguelite Tavern, I think, in Los Angeles. And like I accepted this half an hour after so I have the Edinburgh hour, which is ready to go. And then I have the new hour I did in like Brooklyn and Vancouver and stuff. And then some people came up, they were like, hey, so we have this deal, like you can have a half hour, like where it's kind of we'll do it for free for you, and because we're trying to get experience, and then in return you get like a free special. And I thought like, oh, yeah, I'll just say yes, and I'll just do like a different 30 minutes just to push myself. And I just did like I was so proud of myself. I did like a completely different half hour than the 2 hours that I had already planned to shoot sometime this year. So I feel like I'm been pretty prolific with just like, I don't know, making material and all that stuff.
You've been pumping it out. Like I've seen you do an hour twice in a year.
Yes.
With me, and it was like all different shit.
Yes, right. Yeah. There is another hour that I just a lot of the jokes I will not do again because it was like right after my mom died, and I was like, oh, I need to just kind of address the elephant in the room, and I don't think the jokes are unfunny. I just kind of don't.
You don't want to do them
yeah,
again.
I just don't want it. I don't feel like it's lasting really. You know, I thought it was
topical.
Just, yeah, not topical, right? I'm not big into topical humor. You know, political or mom dying. Like one or the other, they're both the same to me, you know. So yeah, I don't know, just a lot of stand up. Doing the Skin Suit podcast with Fifi has been really fun. And again, it's like I don't know, I've always been bad at the marketing part of show business, the business part of show business. You've always been good at it. Like whenever I work with you, it's like you get the whole place packed out, and I don't know how you do it. But that's kind of something that I wish I was better at, is the business part of it.
I mean, I've had shows that were empty before.
Oh, have you?
Just not with you.
Oh, okay.
It's easy to sell us both together, I think. Because we kind of have overlapping audiences, and it's like, you know, you see Stacy K doing it, and these people in New York are like, should I go see Stacy K do 30 minutes? But then Robin Tran's on the show, and it's like, see Stacy K and Robin Tran do a show? Yeah, like I'll show up for that. But I mean, I usually do pretty well on shows that I do because I really stress out about the marketing stuff. Dude, I'm stressed for 3 months leading up to a show.
Really?
Doing the marketing shit, figuring out how to brand it, because I do everything. I gotta create the poster. I gotta come up with the social media campaign,
right?
And then advertising through social media, because I really want a full room on every show that I produce, you know. So I have a lot more fun when I'm not producing the show, because like, and I don't even care if the show sucks. Like I'll do a bar show that's got like 3 real audience members and 10 comics, and I'll go up and have a good time, because the pressure's not on me to make this show good. So I don't care so much. I just gonna focus on making the room good.
Really? So you don't, I mean, I feel like it's all my responsibility, but because I don't do a lot of
what do you
marketing.
mean?
Well, it's like, if the show is not good, it's all my fault.
Like a show that you just got booked on and just showed
Yes.
up to?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
How the
Yeah.
fuck would that be your fault?
Well, I mostly just do hours now.
Oh, okay.
So if my hour isn't
Yeah, I'm talking
good-
about showcases.
showcases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't do many showcases anymore. It's harder for me to do 10 minutes than it is for me to do an hour at this point. Because I don't know, I feel like 10 minutes is like me kind of clearing my throat.
Tim,
You know?
whenever you're doing a bunch of showcases in New York, you get for like, I mean, you gotta come in like no context, start making people laugh right away,
Yeah,
and you
right.
gotta get a laugh per minute, like you get like
Yeah.
5 laughs per minute, basically,
Yeah.
over and over, and then by 10 minutes, you've exhausted all the very quick laughs,
Mhm.
and you just kind of doing that same set over and over.
Yeah,
And
you know what I've been told is like I'm like Bowser in Super Mario. It takes a little while for me to get going,
oh
and I
yeah,
start off really
yeah,
slow.
yeah.
And then like it's like, oh, if you just gave me like another 10 minutes, it would have been the greatest set you ever saw. But I'm like Better Call Saul. I'm setting up pieces, I'm building a thing, and just wait till you get to season 5, and I'm swear to God, it'll. But I don't know. I like to build a crescendo when I'm doing stand up. Like it starts off funny, but it's like you haven't seen anything yet. I like to kind of build it, and then like by the end, it kind of like everything kind of clicks together. I don't know.
You're really good, I think, at
Thank you.
referencing stuff
I'm sorry.
that
Oh, I appreciate that.
at like referencing stuff that happened earlier in the set
Yes.
and filling out the audience and then making jokes about how the audience reacted to like past jokes or how they're
Yeah.
feeling right now. So when I see you perform for like long sets, that makes sense that you just gets better as the show goes on, the more time you get.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get there. Like it takes like a lifetime almost too. It took over 10 years for me to get to a place where it feels easy.
Hmm.
Like I think it was like I saw Margaret Cho in 2020. It was right before the pandemic, and I was opening for her. So I was doing I think half an hour, and she was gonna do an hour. And I had this half hour set that I thought, wow, I memorized every word, I got every joke in, and every like I killed so hard. And then I saw Margaret Cho go up, and it was like instead of it being like a performer and an audience, it was just like, oh, she's just like talking to a bunch of friends.
You're just hanging out.
And I'm like, what? How did she do that? How did she separate the wall that I always put up? I remember like Ron Funches once told me also when he was first doing stand up that he saw it as like it was a bank robbery whenever he did stand up. Like, no one look at my face, I'm in and out. And like I just want to do the job and get out of here. And I feel like for a long time, I would say that I wanted my jokes to be so good that the audience didn't even notice that I was there. Like I didn't want to be perceived. I just wanted these jokes out there. And I think once I started like realizing how much fun I have actually being out there and performing, I think that actually the lockdown really helped. Just not doing stand up for a year and a half and then doing it again and realizing, oh, I fucking missed this and I've gotten a lot funnier and stuff. I think that helped a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think stand up I think the most important thing is that you're happy to be there.
Yes, I
Like
think so.
if you come into the audience like any sort of cynicism or jadedness or whatever, the audience can tell,
Yeah.
and they just it's not fun. Like you
Yeah.
just gotta have fun. I mean I don't think there's a lot of comics that say that, but like Rory Scovel talks about just if you're not having fun telling the joke, just stop.
Oh,
Like just get a different one.
Rory Scovel had the greatest live comedy set I've ever seen.
Which one?
It was at Largo. No, I was just backstage. I was on a show with him, and I think it was Jesselnick. Yeah, I think I was opening for Jesselnick, and it was just. I won't give away the joke. I'll tell you like off the air because I don't want to give away the joke. But he like brought the room down. So I actually asked him for advice afterwards. Like just like how do you like what do you how do you take a risk like that? Where like weren't you scared to say that? And he was like, oh, the first time I said that I was terrified. And I was like, but now you're not. He goes like, yeah, you just gotta keep like it's like when if you're scared to say something, you just need to say it at least once. And after the audience doesn't go and murder you,
It doesn't throw stuff at you.
it doesn't, then you realize, oh, you're safe and you can do it every time you do it, it gets easier. But no, I like that. Like I remember my mom actually gave me advice once that kind of really stuck with me. I was still depressed. I hadn't been diagnosed with bipolar yet, and I was kind of just complaining about stand up like I always am, like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm too nervous and all this stuff. And my mom said something that at first sounded insulting, where she said, well, if you're not having fun, you should quit. And I was like, why do you always tell me to quit? And get a and she was like, no, you're misunderstanding me. I'm saying that if you wanted to make money, you would do anything other than stand up, right? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, you're doing it because you're having fun, right? And I said, yeah. And she goes, so if you're not having fun, which is the whole point, you should quit and get a regular job. Because the only reason you should be doing this is because it's fun. Because you're not making money doing it.
Right.
And I remember like that was like a wake up call. Like if I'm not telling myself to have fun, like repeatedly, like I have to almost repeat it for 5 straight minutes backstage. Have fun, have fun, have fun. Remember what your mom told you. And if I'm having fun, then yeah, the show is going to be great.
Yeah, you were telling me that
Chelsea
Music Hall.
Yep.
And I've been thinking about that every time I'm going on stage.
Yeah.
To try to get myself in a headspace where it's just I'm having fun. I'm
Yeah.
glad to be there, and it's also important for me to I hate going into a room cold.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be sitting in the room and watching for about 30 minutes before I go up.
Yeah.
I want to know what kind of vibes they've been getting so far and what kind of headspace the audience is in, what they think is funny.
Yeah.
And then make a few jokes about the current situation.
That's good.
To ground into that.
Yeah.
Because like without that, I just feel like I'm going up there and like reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh,
you know?
That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think of it as like well, I perform as if I'm sitting in the audience. And I'm like,
what would be the funniest thing you could say?
Like it's like, yeah, I'm like performing because like I started as a comedy fan, and then I kind of started deconstructing why I found things funny over time, and I kind of got in touch with my own sense of humor. And then so I started just writing jokes that I think would make me as a fan laugh. Like what would I have to say to make that person laugh? So I'm performing essentially for me in the front row. And it's like if I'm not having fun and making that person laugh, then I'm not really doing my job. And I also see it almost like, what would I need to experience on like a first date that would make me feel calm? You know, like if I'm on a first date and let's say the person is funny, but you can tell they're kind of desperate for me to laugh, I might kind of pull back a little bit. Or if they're like, you tell like they made a joke and I didn't laugh and their feelings got hurt, then I'm like, oh, okay. Like it's too much pressure, you know, like make some noise, like that stuff, like really big, like that's like, so it's almost like I like to get into a place where it's like, yeah, just calm down. Just sit down, relax. I got this. Don't worry. Like, don't worry about anything. Like, once I get that, I think people can go, oh, because I feel like being an audience member of a comedy show is actually like, I said this during the Chelsea Music Hall, it's actually more stressful to be in the audience of a comedy show than being the comedian on stage, because it's like, it's your job to laugh. It's your job to, you know, and it's like,
yeah, and if the guy's not funny, you have to
make
fake
the show.
it.
Yeah, you have to
or
fake
you just
it.
have to sit there awkwardly for 10 minutes
and
in silence.
Like, everyone else is experiencing this really awkward thing together. Like I have gotten up during comedy show audience and I've just like walked. I can't.
It's like being an audience member and worried about the comedian being bad is like going to a party and worried it's going to be lame.
Yes,
you know?
right. Yes, exactly right. And so I want to, like, before I'm even funny, I like the audience to calm down and know that you don't have to do anything other than just sit there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of the important part that I think a lot of people don't do as much. I didn't think I was going to talk about stand-up for so long. I actually don't like talking about stand-up this much, but I feel like I get into these autistic hyperfixations. So
no, you can talk about stand-up the whole time if you want to.
No, I don't know. I find it to be kind of boring if I talk about it too much.
What else you want to talk about?
I don't know. This is your show, Stacy. I mean, you said it was my interview, but it is your show. What do you like to talk about on this show?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I talk about politics too much. So
you think you talk about politics too much?
Yeah. I mean, I a lot of times I'll talk about politics kind of at the top because there's like so much stuff happening every
why?
Every week or whatever.
What's happening? I like to always be, oh, I'm sorry, what's happening? I saw this podcaster did a joke and I wish that I came up with it, but it was like he was doing a show and it was like in February and he was like, guys, we haven't watched the election yet. You know, don't spoil it for us. We taped it. Like, I guess like that's like such a funny take on the election. Don't tell us. That, you know, it's actually like being a comedian during these times is very strange for someone like me who is almost like a clown, you know? And it's like, how do I insert myself in this without sounding like everyone else, you know? And like, how do I be like completely original? And like, how do I talk about politics without talking about politics? Like, how do I be, you know, because everyone says like everyone, you know, you're political whether you want to be or not. It's like, yeah, but like that's different than politics. You know, like my life is political because I didn't have a choice, but that's different from like councilmen or ballots and all that stuff. So it's like how do I do my own kind of like fuck these people without doing the same fuck these people that other people are doing?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that to me is a fun challenge. And I don't know, I have this belief. It's not even a belief, but like somebody, Andy actually told me this. It was about like the number one thing fascists fear is like people laughing at them,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, okay, good. So I'm doing like a good job. I'm just calling them the F slur on Twitter, like just out in the open. It's like that's not very clever.
Did you know that they canceled the comedian doing the White House press thing?
Why? What? Who?
I can't remember her name.
Yeah, but why?
Because she said something negative about Trump a week ago, like on a podcast.
Oh,
she
good.
said like, I'm not gonna act like both sides are the same and that things are fine or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's like the press people or whatever, but they literally are canceling comedy.
Oh yeah, I
because
know. I know.
Trump is afraid of people laughing at him,
right? Yeah,
and his ego can't take it.
Yeah, and I like to. I don't know. There's a whole there like Donald Trump might not see your jokes about da da da, but your da 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 friends will see, and that's like, okay, yeah, let's. What we should do is we should just keep making fun of them for things that will never hurt their feelings whatsoever.
I know.
That's like, okay, like what kind of strategy is that? And I don't know. This is like a pet peeve of mine. Like if I'm calling, it's like like so people will share like photos of like Trump and Putin ass fucking each other, whatever, right? Those like, and then there's always a contingent of people going like, well, are people? You're making fun of gay people, and I mean, if we're making fun of homophobia, then we're sinking down to their level. It's like, yeah, but there's nothing wrong with being gay, right? And we know that. This joke
but they don't.
But this joke is fuck these people. Like, I wish that people understood how like. I mean, this sounds like very like right wingy, but like I wish that people knew how comedy works. Like for real, not the way that the right wingers think it works, but the way comedy works at its essence is fuck these people, and that's it. By whatever way you want to say it, and if it splashes back on, it never like splashes back on me when I go, whoa, hey, that joke about da 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 really hurt my feelings. Like, what the fuck does my feelings have to do with this joke that is obviously aimed to hurt these horrible people's feelings?
Dude, I get blowback for that all the time.
Yeah.
Trashing Republicans, and then leftists get upset because they didn't like the way I did it.
Yeah.
Like I've been saying Riley Gaines looks like a trans woman.
Right. Yeah, I know.
Over and over.
Yeah, right.
And people get upset.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, trans is not an insult. What do you mean by trans people look a certain way or whatever? And it's like, see, the thing is, I know it would bother her.
Yes, right. That's
like,
the thing is.
I am trying to hurt her feelings.
Right, yes.
I'm perfectly fine with looking like a trans woman because I don't think that's a bad thing.
Right. Yeah, I think there is a big misunderstanding with that stuff. But I also just like to like, if I like to be, how do you call it? Like somebody once said, your comedy is very mischievous. I thought that was such a funny way of saying it. Like
it does seem like you're going backstage like this, writing your jokes.
And so like I feel like I always have to do like, oh, I hope that people don't think I'm like a right winger. I always have this like fear. So then I'll just do something like super outlandishly, almost like illegal, just to show. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, because I'm not gonna do the whole like, here are the 4 reasons that Donald Trump is stomped on the Constitution. I just like to say things like, we need to kill Donald Trump with kindness. Like, like that's kind of my humor is, wasn't it funny when he almost got shot? And there's like, that stuff is very funny to me. Like something like where it's almost like even liberals can't get on board with like how horrible I'm being. Like, I think like, how do I get to a place where like, you can't like take a snippet of what I'm saying and put it into a paper without people like laughing at it out of context. Like, I think that's always my goal. It's like, if I get quoted on this, then people will just laugh, instead of, other people do it differently. And I'm not criticizing the way they do it, which is, well, they'll say something where a lot of people will read it and they'll agree with it. And they'll be like, yeah, isn't it funny that we all agree with this? But I feel like that to me is, a shortcut. And I prefer to be so, I don't know, like a troll. I think that's like, I'm I'm into that still, even though I'm like a 16-year-old boy still, I guess. But yeah.
I think it's so funny that whenever we're talking about like comedy and politics and stuff, that like people think you should attack their ideas, and not the thing about them is like they're proud of their ideas. Yeah, like that's what they want to talk about, you know?
You know what? I'm so glad we brought this. Okay, so for years, it's since 2021, I think I've been making fun of Joe Rogan's height. That was like my because I heard some podcasts are making fun of it, so it wasn't not my idea. Calling him short, and at first I was like, well, just because he's short doesn't mean he's bad. Like I kind of like had that mentality for a while, and then I kind of thought like, wait, why am I like defending this guy? Like I'm short. If my feelings are hurt because I'm short, that's my problem, right? So then I started just kind of making fun of his height because,
well, shit.
Oh, it's okay. What was that?
Notification. We're bombing Iran right now.
Oh, are we really?
No.
Okay.
Anytime though.
Yeah. What was I talking about? Do you remember?
Shit. You were talking about making.
Okay. So Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah, Joe Rogan.
So I didn't want to tell people why I was making fun of Joe Rogan because I hey, he's short, and I just kept
blasting
punching that,
making it a meme.
He's short until like in LA there was a big skywriting that says Joe Rogan is literally 5'3", like in skywriting.
Wait, that was actually in LA?
Yes, it was a real thing.
Somebody put that up there?
Yes, that was real. It was.
That's incredible. I thought that was a Photoshop.
Nope, it was completely real, and I would say more text messages that day than I've ever gotten saying, did you do this? Like, and so to this day, people think that I did that.
Who did it?
I think some guy was proposing to his girlfriend, and it was just like, will you marry me? And by the way, Joe Rogan is literally 5'3". It was just like a dumb joke. But people were like, okay, even if you didn't do it, was that like kind of because of your jokes? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. But so now, like, let's fast forward a few years later, right? Now it's kind of like, can you see why I was making fun of him? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like now it's like kind of, because when I was doing that, I would never tell people why I was making fun of him because I didn't want to get into an argument. Mm-hmm. Like why I was really making fun of him.
You don't want to get into the nuances of this piece of shit.
Because like what I was really mad about is I didn't like a lot of his, like during COVID, I didn't like a lot of the anti-vax stuff. And then he got really into anti-trans stuff. And I just didn't want to like get into arguments with people about that stuff. So I was like, I just kind of like, I just want people to know I hate this guy, you know? And I didn't want people to accuse me of being woke. So I wanted to do something that would offend even some people from my own fan base, just so that if they get upset, then I just go, oh, your SJW for Joe Rogan. Like it's kind of like this kind of troll tactic I picked up years ago, where it's like you don't let people hold a remote control at you. You want to be the one holding the remote. So just always having that. And the people would message me sometimes, and they would be like, hey, I know that you have a problem with Rogan, but you know he's also interviewed people like Bernie Sanders and stuff. And I was like, oh, I had never said anything about his politics at all. I don't know what you're
right.
I mean, why did you even message me this? You know, like I'm playing dumb. But now what is he doing? He's like, he can't say anymore. And he's trying to say, I'm not a Republican, right? He always like pulls that shit. He's like, you endorsed Trump. And like now that people are kind of seeing that he's a big piece of shit, I think now they can maybe go back and go, oh, that's why Robin was really anti-Rogan before it became okay and acceptable to say. And whenever Joe Rogan comes out with this whole "I'm not a Republican" stuff, I think another podcaster I liked, and I don't want to say his name, but he would just go, "Well, Joe, what's wrong with being a Republican?" Like, well, I mean, I think your Republican fans deserve to know. I was like, why? Oh, but that's so good. Like, more people should do that.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with being a Republican, Joe?
Make them kind of define.
Yeah,
their
like
stuff.
tell me why you have a problem with it. A lot of your fans are Republicans. Shouldn't they be upset at this? Like, I think that tactic is so good. Like you know, like some people like Jimmy Dore. This is so inside baseball, but Jimmy Dore is like, I'm a big leftist. Or he's always talking about how he's like the only leftist left in the world or whatever.
Does he still do that?
Yes, and Jesus. It's like he's but he'll say things like look, I'm no fan of Trump. However, and then like 9 paragraphs defending him for something. Mm-hmm. And then like I think people get into like, what do you mean? And I just want to be like, oh, what? I want to go back to that first sentence he said. You said that you're not a fan of Trump. Why? I mean, don't you think he's doing a good job? Like, why don't you tell your MAGA audience? Like, why don't you just say it then? You know what I mean? Like, I think more than anything, and I've talked to Fifi about this in politics, is the thing that bothers me the most are things that should not bother me the most, which is I just don't like it when people are like sneaky liars.
Right.
It's like that kind of gets me more than anything. Like if Jimmy Dorgan said, "Look, I'm a Republican now," I'd be like, "All right, well, I'm done with you." Like,
yeah, it's
because,
like not,
you know,
it's not as fun
because it's like it's only fun if you're catching them in a lie, you know. And also, I like to make fun of the anti-woke people for like a very like selfish reason, which is like they'll say things that I kind of agree with. They'll say things like, "Oh, people should be able to make whatever jokes they want. People should, you know, are too offended nowadays." And so if I make fun of, let's say I make fun of like wokesters or whatever you call it, right? And I'll go, "You guys are offended by everything." They'll just be like, "Yeah, everything is offensive," and I'll be like, "Well, there's nowhere to go from here." Like that's kind of the end of like they, you know, they're not like gonna like, "No, I'm not," but then the other side goes like, "No, I'm not," and now it's fun. Now I can really pick at that for years and years. But what are you gonna say to? "Yeah, it is offensive." Like, all right, well, I guess we can't really be as close as we want to be, but I think that's kind of my own selfish take on it. Yeah.
You know, I think the weakness that the left has had for a long time, and by left I mean both like leftists and liberals or whatever,
Yeah.
is the belief that you should talk about people's ideas and you should attack their ideas
Yeah,
and you
right.
should win an argument, and that's
Yeah.
how you win over people.
Yeah.
And that's not how I've ever done anything in my life. Like
Yeah.
that's your fucking debate kid. Well, actually, you get
Yeah.
the points or whatever. But I mean, the way Trump took over the Republican Party is by making all of their heroes look like a bitch.
Yes.
He just went and insulted every
Yep.
single person in the
Yeah.
Republican Party until he was in charge of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know, in middle America, right? You're not going to convince them with arguments, facts,
Yeah.
research,
Yeah.
theory, any of that stuff. They don't care.
Yeah.
What they want is strength.
Yeah.
They value strength.
Right.
And you've seen Planet of the Apes, right? The
Yeah.
newer ones.
Yeah.
There's a thing where Caesar, he gets shot, right? And then he's going to come back and fight Koba.
Yeah.
And he's explaining like these apes they're not just going to be on my team because I'm back.
Yeah. Right.
I'm going to have to show them that I'm the strongest.
Right.
Ape will choose strongest branch.
Mhm.
And that's like my whole theory of politics. Ape chooses strongest branch.
Yeah.
And Trump projects strength
Yeah.
by just insulting people, by never apologizing, by talking mad shit about things that have nothing to do with any sort of their ideas or whatever. And that's just how people's brains work. They don't work like debate people.
I agree with the debate stuff. I think that debating is almost like a psyop. I hate using psyop, but it's a way of getting people to not do anything, right? It's just you're gonna be on the show. Oh, like, I hate it when like big alpha males nowadays are just like, I want Tim Pool and Dave Smith to have a debate. I'm
Right.
salivating at that thought. Like, you're the gayest dudes like in the fucking world. But like, I just think that's like so weirdly like.
See, I would do a debate with like some of these conservatives, but the problem is I would insult them constantly.
Well,
like I would not.
I think that the thing that I'm slightly disagreeing with is I don't know if strength is what does it. I think that people like how like people don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel, right?
Right.
I think it's because Trump makes them laugh, and I think that's almost all of it.
Right. That's a bit. I mean, Trump never smiles really. He doesn't laugh.
Yeah.
And he's always whatever, but he's telling jokes constantly.
Yeah.
And he makes them feel. I mean, he just feels so in control and stuff whenever he's talking all this shit.
Do you ever see him making fun of Marco Rubio with the water?
Yes.
I mean, it's like I'm like I hate this guy, but that's like the fun. I'm like, why don't we have anyone that is like that funny?
I mean,
like, you know what I mean? Like Rubio just like splashing the water.
He really is like a comedian. Like we got a comedian in the fucking White House.
If you can make people laugh, they'll do whatever you want. But the thing is that what's so fun is that if you get people to laugh at Trump, which is like that's very fun. Like, I think the only thing that pissed Trump off in his entire first term was when the TikTok kids convinced him that 1 million people were showing up to his rally and like 30,000 people showed up. Do you remember that?
No.
So yeah, they just kind of like they just bought they just said they were going to go. It was this big mass TikTok thing. So they were expecting 1 million people at this event. And then so like it was like the biggest embarrassment of his whole presidency. And there is a very funny photo of him with his tie is off and he's walking, and
and he's like tired.
I've
I know
never
that
seen
picture.
a sadder, more tired man in my life. And I was like, that to me is resistance, is that you make them look stupid, and now they're not laughing with you, they're laughing at you. And people don't remember this, but originally the reason why Trump wanted to ban TikTok was because of that. All of the other stuff about their spies and everything that came after. Like he got the ball rolling because he hated these kids for doing that to him, And I think that is fun to just keep on hammering home that point. And all of the funny memes about how like Trump is sitting in the back and Elon Musk is president. Like that shit is very funny to me.
Right.
Just make him like a cuck.
Oh, you see that Trump said that Elon's gone soon?
Yes.
That's going to be interesting.
Because it's like Elon Musk is like
a tool.
I would say that this is controversial, but I actually hate Elon Musk more than Trump.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's I feel like having that much money is the most dangerous thing in the world. And also like that you have that much money and you're like this much of a cringe, like unfunny. Like Elon Musk has never made me laugh. Like Donald Trump wants to take away my rights and he's made me laugh. Like that's how unfunny Elon Musk is, right? Like Elon Musk is, I did a joke about how Elon Musk is somebody that would be left out of like a Nazi group chat and he would blame it on wokeness. Like he just he just wants so badly to be, there's a thing with him with a chainsaw and make comedy legal, man. Like I hate him so much, and I have been waiting for the fallout with Elon and Trump. And I do think a lot of it is not only is Elon not like, well, he like lost Wisconsin, right? He spent like $26 million on it or something. But I feel like all those people, all of Trump and his friends, they probably just don't like the guy.
I think nobody does like, apparently. All reports are that this dude, the word they keep using is man-child.
Yeah, so I think that like a lot of politics are things that we just don't, like we actually don't see, which is like when he leaves the room, he's like, oh, this fucking guy again. So politics is people in the end, right?
Right.
So I do think like I'm watching that and I'm like, there's no way that Trump thinks this guy is like funny or cool or interesting or, what scared me? It scared me before the election. Because I would always hear from Trump's friends. Like, you guys don't know Trump like I do. I've always heard this, right? It's like, he puts on, I'm like, no, we do know exactly what Trump is like, And then he was doing like an interview with like Theo Vaughn, right? And he was sitting there and he was quiet and he was like listening and nodding and not talking and not interrupting Theo. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that's like, I don't like that actually looks like a regular person. That scared the shit out of me. I'm like, oh, this must be the Trump that they see, right? I don't think Elon has even that. That's why Elon scares me so much, is that he has all this money and he has no charm. So he spends all this money to get people to like him, and then they don't like him, and then he uses more money to get revenge on people. He bought a whole app just to fuck over trans people because his trans daughter like left him, and then his his girlfriend dated a trans woman. That's like Elon Musk is that petty with that much power. So yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like when I saw Trump get shot, I was horrified.
Yeah.
Because I knew how good that picture was.
Yeah, right. Like, right. Yes, the fight.
Oh, first of all, we'll go back. The only reason that roof had a clear line of sight on the stage is because not enough people were coming to the event. Right. So they had to scale back the number of risers that would let people sit there.
Yeah.
So they did that last second.
Yeah.
So that roof would not have been a straight line of sight to where Trump was if more people were going to show up.
Right.
But they removed him last second, and it was like an oversight that kind of everyone dropped the ball a little bit. Like, oh, what if someone has a gun right there?
Right. Right. Yeah.
But like when I saw Trump get shot, I was like, fuck, he's going to win now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's nothing we can do. We're screwed. I don't want anybody to assassinate Trump.
Uh-huh.
I do think it would be really funny if somebody assassinated Elon.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with Trump dying of a stroke, the old-fashioned way. But
right.
Elon's got to go.
I feel like there was a funny picture. I wish I remember which comedian did it. But so Trump is doing like the fight thing, and somebody just drew in
a
giant dick with some.
Yeah, that was Skylar. That was Skylar.
I'm like, oh, that's so. That should have gotten 10 million views because I'm like,
it went crazy.
That to me is how you fight these people. It's just to be completely immature and to not give into the strength that they're trying to like they're trying to show how strong they are. It's almost like the emperor without clothes stuff, right? Like it doesn't mean that they're not doing real harm because they have like all this power, but they don't have as much power as they're presenting that they have. You know what I mean? Like almost like it's like a relying on us being so scared that they're doing all this power, but like he'll do shit like, oh, executive order, no more birthright citizenship, and then quietly it's like the judge is like, no, that's fucking stupid. And they goes, oh, okay, and it's done, right? So it's like that's just an example of like what like Steve Bannon calls like flooding the market or whatever it's called, like flooding
the zone with shit.
Yeah, it was shit. So here's where I think you and I disagree with politically is I am, and I know that you don't agree with this, is that I am very, very pro assassination. like I think that's kind of where we disagree, like because I don't know if it's like because in my own life experience, right, like growing up in Garden Grove, we never had any kind of like politician visit us or try to get our vote or anything. We were just poor, like the poorest people, you know. And I remember one time John Kerry showed up to like the Asian Mall. It's actually called the Asian Mall in Garden Grove, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, a politician! Wow, we can't." But and he like left, and then he never came back. Like no one has ever, you know. So I don't believe that. The only two things I think that would scare politicians is a general strike or an assassination. I think short of those two things, I don't think things truly change unless they're scared or they're losing all their money. Like I think
I like them being scared of being assassinated.
Yeah, right.
What I worry about is the aftermath of an assassination where the guy gets put up as a martyr.
Yes,
which
right.
and I mean in like recent American history, like when JFK got assassinated, support for him went through the roof, right? You know, same thing with MLK. He was not very popular before he got assassinated, and then he got assassinated. I mean, obviously, I support MLK, right? But like, that's just kind of how people do when they see somebody get killed. They suddenly get sympathetic to them, and I don't want people to ever get sympathetic to this piece of shit, you know?
Right.
So like, I want them to be afraid of it. I want them to constantly be worried about like, oh, I need to be behind glass all the time, you know?
You know, I don't know. Trump's not going to know how much support he's getting, you know, if he's dead. So I think that's, I mean, I do think I have more of the system really has to just like something really like rocky has to happen. So I think I'm a little more extremist than you are when it comes to that. Cause I don't know. I don't know. You know me. I don't really believe in the system. I think it's funny. We have had kind of funny arguments about it in real life. Where I remember one time you were arguing with something, and we were both really high, and I just looked at you and I was like, "Stacy, you hate ignorance, don't you?" You remember? I'm like, because I kind of like love ignorance in a way, like just like harmless.
I like ignorance as a bit.
Yeah, but I feel like
actually thinking stuff wrong. That's like, wait, you don't actually think that though, right? Yeah.
But I feel like, so I think that where you and I kind of differ is because I feel like the reason I don't debate you about politics is I feel like you're really good at knowing the rules of a game that I don't believe in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess
so. You have all of the like.
Listen, I didn't want to know all these rules. All right, I had to learn all of them.
Yeah,
and I hate knowing all this stuff.
Right.
But I needed to like know the specific steps that's gonna happen in Missouri before they pass all this shit. And I got to get the hell out of here. You know, I have to know like what kind of people we can put pressure on to try to stop the legislation going through, and how you can pit the Republican Party against itself,
right? If
it's not unified, and you can get them to just stop doing things. Right. So that's why I learned it. It's not like I like it. And I know it's all just it's all like fake, really. We all just kind of agree to it meaning things.
Yeah, and I think that's like a trigger for me is when people still believe. And I think that really I don't want to like admit that to myself, but you know, like, because I feel like other people are better at taking up space with their triggers than I am. But when people kind of come out, it's all white people doing this, by the way, is like, well, I guess that's it for the Constitution. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck. Like, that doesn't matter. I'm sorry, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the people inside of, like, America doesn't matter. The people inside of America matter, you know? And I feel like a lot of white people care more about the story of America and like the Shining Hill or whatever that stuff. I used to love that stuff. I used to like be so into all that stuff. But I think I'm like everything that conservatives hate because like how some conservatives are like, oh, all the libs want to do is like get rid of the family structure and the all this stuff, and they're all atheists, and then there's some liberals that go like, that's not true. I'm like, no, that's true for me. I feel like once I like let go of my belief in God and then my belief in the country, I also let go of my belief that family is important. And I gotta say, like, it's really, really liberating to not have this kind of like, why won't you accept me kind of neediness for people that will not ever do that, So I that's how I feel like fuck America. That's how I like legit feel that way. Like, unless you guys do something different, fuck America, fuck the idea of a God, fuck my family. So that's where my politics lie. I don't know. I just remember the Hatch Act joke I did. Do you remember this? It was
What
like
was the Hatchet Act?
my friend like Kellyanne Conway was like promoting Melania's book on TV.
Oh yeah, he
And
said
my friend he had messaged me, he was like, did you see that? She violated the Hatch Act. And I was like, oh, you poor soul. Are you you think that shit matters? The Hatch Act? And I was like, I'm so glad I don't know nothing about this bullshit because I don't know. I never want to be like naive enough to believe that that matters. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I actually do like at the same time, I know that there are activists out there that are doing really good work, like getting petitions and all that stuff. I'm like, I feel like what other people are doing they're not as like more thankless than what I'm doing. I feel like I kind of get to be like the kind of clown and people can say I'm funny and stuff. But yeah, I do recognize that there are actually people out there that they do believe in the system and they're trying to change the system from within. And I think that's like a very thankless, good job people do. And I think more of what my problem is anytime a white person is like surprised that someone got away with something because this document that a bunch of old dudes wrote hundreds of years ago said that they can't get away with it. And I just think the naivete really like triggers me. Like, I don't think I've ever felt safe in America. Like, I feel like, um, in a Vietnamese immigrant, you're almost like, um, I'll put it to you like this: if like on Wednesday, or like next, like let's say next Wednesday, and let's say it's not even Trump. Let's say it's just like some Democrat, whatever, right? Some politician, and they're just like, okay, guys, we just decided that by tomorrow, no more Asians. I wouldn't be like, what? I just be like, hey, okay, well, it's been fun. Like I've always felt like a visitor in this country. I've never felt like I lived here. It's more like every 4 years, I feel like if I don't like say exactly what is necessary to get somebody to win, I feel like this kind of anger from white people where it's like, you should be grateful that we even let you live here. And this is like not coming from just conservatives. I just mean it's like this kind of scariness that I feel of, oh, I guess like in the end, I am just a visitor here. And I think just feeling that lack of stability is why I don't have belief in the system. That's kind of where I'm coming from.
Right.
What do you think of all that, Stacy? I mean, do you think
so if you ever hear me say some stuff about Republicans violating the Constitution, it's not because I think that the Constitution is so like this special document.
Right.
The thing is, that piece of paper was a thing we signed to not go to war.
Right.
And if that shit gets, and a lot of the stuff in the Constitution is stupid. Like the Electoral College is just straight up like pants on head stupid.
Right.
Thing. But it was a compromise. We came together, the smaller states and the bigger states. They were like, we're not going to have a union and we're going to be like different countries that fight each other unless you sign this document and put that shit in there.
Right.
So that piece of paper is just a little thing saying we're not going to go to war with each other.
Right.
And if they're starting to violate key tenets of it, it's like, we're going to do guns and shit soon, aren't we?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like it doesn't benefit those people for us to actually kill each other. I feel like they kind of need us to be alive so they could just take all our money. That's my opinion.
You're assuming that the people in charge are smart and practical. I think the people in charge are complete morons and are perfectly happy with burning down everything around them if it means they get to be in power just a little bit longer. Like,
Yeah, I can see
I'm
that.
from the South, right?
Yeah.
We seceded from there was no way on earth the South was ever going to win.
Right.
They were doomed from the start. It was not going to work.
Yeah.
Beating the Union. And at the time in the South, it was that's where all the elites lived in the South. It was like, because they owned all the plantations, they owned all these slaves and all this kind of stuff. And they pushed all this propaganda to get all of these like poor white people to think we're on the same team here.
Oh, right.
Get them willing to go die to fight for the property of the whatever. And but like they knew it was like really bad. And then whenever the Union started going through the South and burning everything up, all the rich people, like they got out. They either moved to the North and pretended like they never owned slaves, or they moved to Brazil and to continue their slave owning way of life. And they absolutely like burned down everything around themselves. Just so they could be in power a little bit longer. Because they don't give a fuck about any of this stuff. And I just think that I think America will be destroyed by stupid people in charge, like just absolute morons. And like through history, like the kind of fascists, they're all idiots, like complete ideological idiots. And they do a bunch of stuff that like they're obviously gonna lose. Like it's just a matter of time before they lose. And it's not calculated. It's not like, it would be bad if we had civil war for the billionaires or whatever, but they're still going to be like the richest guys anyway.
Right.
They still get to be at the top.
I understand.
So they don't really care if we have a civil war. Because like they get to protect themselves. We don't.
Makes sense. I mean, I think that, I think that's true.
So like I used to believe that money was more in charge, like the big money people, and they're like, we're not going to let a president do anything crazy now. But I don't at all anymore.
I still think that.
You still think that the money people are going to stop this shit from going off the rails?
No, I don't know if they're going to stop this shit from happening, but I still think that they're in charge. I think Trump is taking orders.
I think he's taking orders from Russia.
I don't know. I don't think it's Russia, but I don't want to say what I really think just because I'm scared. But
you don't want to?
No, I don't. I don't want to say.
I mean, I do think he's taking orders. I think that I think Elon. I think he made a deal with
the art of the deal.
Right.
Sorry.
Right. I think he made a deal with Russia, the Saudis, and a bunch of the tech billionaires to basically fund his whole campaign and get him back in power. And then he was going to loosen regulations and protect the assets of all of those people in that. I think
that's very, very true. I remember my friend was just saying like, the thing that scares him most about Trump is he can just picture the guy with like just a briefcase full of money.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, that's actually like a really good way of looking, just like conniving, like
he's a scoundrel.
A crook, like a big crook.
He's like through the like old timey like salesman coming through the town and he's gonna get all the money and bail. Like
I think that's kind of what he is in the end. But no, I still think money rules everything. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, in
a way, I do think that money rules everything.
Yeah.
But I also think that they would be perfectly happy destroying everything that we know around us, while protecting their like initial assets.
You might be right. I think a lot of my thoughts are not really thoughts; they're more like wishful thoughts. Wishful thinking. So I don't know. I have a very like a cynical worldview, but like almost like a weird optimism that things will be okay without any evidence.
They'll just be okay forever.
I don't know. I kind of
you're a nothing ever happens person.
No, I think I've been called a cynical optimist. I would say like just,
who's called you that?
A lot of people throughout my life. Like I don't believe that America works. I don't believe that most people are good. I don't believe all that stuff. But I do believe that like existence is a miracle. And I think that in the end, everything will be okay because everything eventually ends for everyone.
We all die.
And I think that's kind of where I think like, it's like, because I don't know, in the meantime, as things fall apart, I just believe in having as much fun as you can. Usually I had like friends die really young. And just kind of just seeing like their attitudes, like on their deathbeds, still making jokes, He's very inspiring to me, I think. Of yeah, well, we're all fucked, but they can't stop us from dancing.
Right.
That's kind of how I look at things. So maybe it's wrong, Stacy. I don't know. I'm naive,
I mean, I think we're in for a tough period of American history for the next several years. And I think that we got so rich as a country and spoiled and just opulence like the world has never seen. And we
like
just...
the world has never seen. I guess that's a very true. Sorry for the Trump impression.
We're so used to just things working out and us being on top of the whole world.
Yeah.
Even though that's not been the case in American history most of the time. We were like kind of a backwater country until Europe blew up themselves fighting in the war, and then they needed our factories to buy shit. And then that's how we got in charge of the world.
Oh,
and everybody today has just taken that for granted and think that's the default understanding is America dominates the world, but that's not the case, and we can lose it. Like we can...
I don't want America to be number one or whatever. Like
you don't want us to get bossed around by other countries, though.
No, I don't care. I legit don't.
There's gonna be a world power. Well, look, there's gonna be a power that's more in control, and you don't want them exerting influence over where you live. You want it to be more.
I feel like just hand the keys to somebody else for a while. Like, I think it's just too much pressure to be like, we're on top, and if we lose the number one, I think that's kind of like, see, again, I'm telling you this is someone who doesn't know the game, so I apologize, but just I don't think it matters that we're number one, even no matter what that means. I think that's I don't know. I think a lot of it is not ego driven.
Well, that's not. I don't mean that we have to be number one. What I'm saying is, we have been a very rich country for a long time.
Yes.
And we think that can't ever change. That we can't ever... We think that we put tariffs on other people and that people can never put tariffs on us.
Yeah.
We think that we are unstoppable and untouchable.
Yeah.
And that's just not true. And the only reason America has kept its place is because it's had a long line of people who were like, let's not fuck with this part of whatever. And what we voted for in 24 was we just want to change, throw out all these parts of the government because I think things should be better and just trash it all. Yeah. And God, it can get so much worse. It can get so bad.
But here's the thing, and this is my weird, I think we're going over a little bit here. This is my weird wishful thinking, whatever, is a lot of countries resent America and have resented America for a very long time, and I think that a lot of countries are mad at us for what's happening because of Trump with the tariff. I don't even know about these tariffs. I just know that he's fucking up pretty bad, right? The resentment will eventually fade if people see us kind of being punished. Feel
sorry for us.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I legitimately believe this because there are people out there that are going, oh, guys, most Americans don't like this fucking guy. I think at some point that's going to show, because I think that the more Trump does this stuff, the more people are going to go, look, we also hate trans people and stuff, but eggs are $90 for one egg now. It's going to be a point where they're going to be like, dude, we are not making any money. We're losing a lot of money. Everything's more expensive. And then these horrible people, it's going to happen under their watch. And then, yeah, it's nice to have you kind of lost a little bit, America, and have this is kind of a humbling moment, and people will have sympathy and go, yeah, maybe there's no reason to hate you as much as we do anymore because you're no longer the domineering country. That's what I'm hoping for. But I don't know. Stacey,
see what the thing is though. Before Trump, most countries had a pretty favorable view of America. If you poll the people,
but I would say most people in the world. Yeah, other countries might have liked this, but if you people around the world don't like America, and I'm talking about the people. I'm not talking about the governments.
No, I mean I'm talking about just the people, not the places. I'm saying that people had a favorable view of America and wanted to come here, right? And we also had, and it trickled up to all their governments. Everybody wanted to be our friend because we're rich and powerful and all that kind of stuff. So we got all these great trade deals with all these countries.
Yeah,
and now Trump is like, no, that's all that shit's canceled, you know, and we're not going to get a better deal than that.
Yeah.
Like that was as good as it gets. We had it made
Right.
and we're like trashing it all now because we thought we deserved better because we're so fucking spoiled that we just think that we should always get more stuff all the time. And it should never, you know, be like we're dealing with another country that's like, well, you know, they have some valid points here. We should do kind of what they want every now and then. And it's going to start turning like that because we've burned so much goodwill. Like Canada's pissed at us right now. The Canadians are never going to look at us the same way. They'll feel bad for us for all the suffering under Trump and all that kind of stuff. But by and large, they see we elected that guy, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that Donald Trump should get a shot at an opportunity. I don't know. That's where I mean, you know what I think would fix all this. And that is a good old fashioned pushing him to better ideas. I mean,
right.
You know
anyways, do you have anything to plug?
Skin Suit Podcast with me and Fifi Dosh. You know, be on the lookout for Hear Me Out, which is my half hour coming out.
Where's that airing?
I don't know. It might be just like self-funded. I'm not really sure.
YouTube.
Yeah, maybe YouTube, but I'm gonna try to sell it first, but we'll see. How do you feel about my politics, Stacy? Are we good?
Yeah.
Are you surprised by any of it? No, this is pretty obvious.
You have pretty normal politics, honestly.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't shared most of them, so don't worry. I'll share off air, okay?
All right. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. And you got any last words of advice, Robin?
Yeah, just, you know, it's not illegal to pray for it to happen. Just let's put it like that.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.